Shots were fired, apparently at President Reagan as he was coming out of the Washington Hilton Hotel this afternoon. The president was not hit. He was pushed into his limousine and immediately taken away to safety. However, 3 persons were hit. We believe they are 2 Secret Service agents and the president's press secretary.
Assignment editor just hands me a note that correspondent Scott Barrett reporting from George Washington University Hospital that the First Lady, Nancy Reagan, has just arrived at GWU Hospital. As we say, the president is okay, but of course, if he's back at the White House, he's certainly concerned about the carnage that lay on the street and the sidewalks back there.
The president, I repeat for emphasis, was not hit, although President Reagan is now described as having gone to George Washington Hospital in Washington, D.C., apparently for 2 reasons. First of all, to have himself double checked over, although I repeat for a 3rd time, the White House says the president has not been hit by these shots that were fired at Mr. Reagan.
See the president coming out now. We just have to watch. I don't know whether we can hear this or not. There. Shots. God. These are the agents immediately diving after the assailant. There are 2 or 3 people down on the ground. We understand that 1 Secret Service agent, 1, it may be another Washington policeman who was injured. I can't hear the sound on this. Can't hear the sound. We understand also that James Brady, the White House press secretary, was among those injured. The president had just come out of the entrance. Yes, there is. That looks like Jim Brady. All this happened about 2:30 this afternoon as the president was coming out after talking to the AFL-CIO. This is the first time that any of us has seen any of this tape. The president, let me repeat once again, the president was immediately pushed into his car, as the agents are trained to do in a situation of this kind, and the car immediately then went to the George Washington University Hospital, where those who were hit were taken. They include Jim Brady, who is the president's press secretary, a Secret Service agent, and a policeman. We do not know their condition, but quite obviously, as soon as we find out anything more, we're going to... Here, we have a report that Lynn Nofziger, who was the president's advisor for political...
Michael Deaver just came
for political affairs. Lynn Nofziger has told reporters at the hospital that the president was not wounded. He was wounded. My God. He was... the president was hit. He is in stable condition. All this information... The president was hit. He was hit in the left chest, according to this, but he is in stable condition, and the typed information I have is that he is okay. Speak up.
1 shot, stable condition.
The president was hit. My God, the president was hit. All this that we've been telling you is incorrect. We now must redraw this entire tragedy in different terms. The president was hit today. He was hit in the left chest, but we are told he is all right. He is at George Washington University Hospital.
Basically, we have this information. The president was shot once in the left chest. The bullet entered from the left side. He is conscious. He is in stable condition. And that literally is all I can tell you at this time.
The president?
The president.
Second, pardon me. Okay. While we are waiting, just to tie down once and for all that, we're going to be... Look, can we hold for just a moment? What is the correct word?
He's not in surgery yet. He's conscious.
Okay, the president, okay, shot once in the left chest near the, okay, Daniel Shore, we've just been given this hard word. The president was shot once in the left chest near the left arm. According to Lynn Nofziger, the president is conscious.
And
I wonder why
said to be in stable condition.
In stable condition. I wonder why the lapse in time.
Here that they are only
bad enough so that his condition is called stable. It does not appear to be a life-threatening situation from what we are being told by officials
was shot.
here
He
at
said the
White House.
president walked into the hospital. That was a very encouraging news. Now, we have been told, ABC News has been told by a doctor at the hospital, that one lung of the president has partially collapsed, but that he is in good condition. And I'm going to give you the name of this man that has been reported to us as the assailant, simply because everybody else is reporting his name. He is John W. Hinckley, Jr. That is the report we have. John W. Hinckley, Jr., 22 years old. It is understood that he is from Evergreen, Colorado. Bill Greenwood is ready at the White House, so we'll go back there now. Bill?
Vice President Bush, who was out of town when the shooting occurred, is now en route back to Washington, but he will not take the authority of President, which is a good indication that Mr. Reagan's condition is not that serious. Under one of the amendments to the Constitution, were he to be incapacitated, the authority of President would pass on to the Vice President for that period. There is no intention at this time of giving Mr. Bush the authority of President.
Tell CBS News in California that he, Neil Reagan, has been told that his brother, President Reagan, was undergoing surgery. Phil Jones hears on Capitol Hill that the president is in surgery and has had one transfusion so far. Lim Nofsinger, a White House aide, describes the president as having been struck in the chest by a bullet that apparently came in under the left arm. Nofsinger said, well, anytime a person is hit in the chest, you have to consider it serious, but said that the president entered the hospital under his own power and was talking to people inside the hospital after he got inside. Asked why, that the original report from White House spokesman Carna Small was that the president had not been struck, Nofsinger simply said he didn't know, except that he did not believe that the president himself realized he had been struck by a bullet until he got to George Washington Hospital.
Here to let you know that I will be present here.
This is a briefing at the White House.
Throughout. Len Nofsinger's at the hospital. He will be making statements from there. We will have the same information here. I can only say what we said earlier, that the president has a gunshot wound in the left side of the chest. He is in stable condition. It is a head wound. We have no information on his condition. And that's the extent.
President in surgery.
I can't say.
We have gotten confirmed reports, so have other network news, so have the wires. Can't you help us with that, Larry?
As soon as we can confirm it, we will. And
Larry, his brother's been called by the White House and has been told that the president is in surgery right now, that he's already had blood transfusions. Is your information going to be that far behind what we're getting from other sources?
No, Leslie, we will do our very best to keep it up. As you know, earlier when I was out here, our initial report said was that the president was not hit. That's what we run into when we try to give information when we aren't 100% sure or we don't have it from the source.
Today's tragedy. First, as you know, we're in close touch with the Vice President, who is returning to Washington. We have in the Situation Room all of the officials of the Cabinet who should be here and ready at this time. We have informed our friends abroad of the situation, the president's condition as we know it, stable, now undergoing surgery, and there are absolutely no alert measures that are necessary at this time or contemplated. Now, if you have some questions, I'd be happy to take them.
Crisis management, is that put into effect when you arrived?
Crisis management is in effect.
Who is making the decisions for the government right now? Who's making the decisions?
Constitutionally, gentlemen, you have the President, the Vice President, and the Secretary of State in that order. And should the President decide he wants to transfer the helm to the Vice President, he will do so. As of now, I am in control here in the White House, pending return of the Vice President, and in close touch with him.
A very shaken Alexander Haig has just announced that for now he is in charge, and many people have wondered about the United States Constitution, and those words on that parchment are not there for nothing.
Well, I am not sure yet whether what the Secretary of State said is precisely in accordance with the Constitution.
No, it's not.
There is, in fact, a line of succession, but that line of succession is triggered only by the total incapacity of the President or a decision of the President. If the President has not yet decided that to pass on the presidency for the time being, then he hasn't passed it on. If he is speaking, if he is conscious, then nobody can take it away from him. It may be premature at a time like this to criticize the words of Secretary Haig, but they are at least open to constitutional question when Haig says that for the time being, I am in charge here. His willingness to be in charge has been noted before.
They were just concluding a meeting in the hospital of all the doctors associated with the hospital. Sure, when I saw all those doctors around me, too, I said, I hope they were all Republicans.
What are you going to do when you get home, Mr. President? What are you going to do when you get home?
Sit down.
I'd like to say a few words directly to all of you and to those who are watching and listening tonight, because this is the only way I know to express to all of you on behalf of Nancy and myself our appreciation for your messages, your flowers, and most of all, your prayers, not only for me, but for those others who fell beside me. The warmth of your words, the expression of friendship, and yes, love, meant more to us than you can ever know. You have given us a memory that we'll treasure forever. And you have provided an answer to those few voices that were raised saying that what happened was evidence that ours is a sick society. The society we heard from is made up of millions of compassionate Americans and their children from college age to kindergarten. As a matter of fact, as evidence of that, I have a letter with me. The letter came from Peter Sweeney. He's in the 2nd grade in the Riverside School in Rockville Center. And he said, I hope you get well quick, or you might have to make a speech in your pajamas. And he added a postscript. P.S. If you have to make a speech in your pajamas, I warned you. Sick societies don't produce young men like Secret Service agent Tim McCarthy, who placed his body... He placed his body between mine and the man with the gun simply because he felt that's what his duty called for him to do. Sick societies don't produce dedicated police officers like Tom Delahanty. Or able and devoted public servants like Jim Brady. Sick societies don't make people like us so proud to be Americans and so very proud of our fellow citizens.